everybody, welcome into Farm Cooking with Nan. Today we're going to be making a healthy version of a cookie, okay? I'm going to try to make it to where I can eat it. So I'm going to be using, they call this, it was a viral cookie and it was called a whip cookie. But I'm not going to use cake mix. I'm going to use a Keto Brownie mix. And I'm using this Keto Brownie mix because that's all I've got. If I thought that I had a Keto cake mix, but I didn't. So if you all have a Keto cake mix, this is Duncan Hines. This is a Duncan Hines friendly chewy fudge brownie. And I know it's going to be good, whether it's the brownie or whether you use a cake. Now remember, one thing, you definitely can use a regular cake mix and make this regular. You don't have to use a keto one or anything like that. You can use a regular cake mix or a regular brownie mix. I'm just trying to use something that I can have a cookie or two, you know? Next, I'm going to use one container. This is an 8-ounce container, 0 sugar Cool Whip. Now, I put this out this morning to thaw. I hope that it did thaw. I squeezed it a few times and I thought, yeah, that's probably thawed by now. Yes, it is. Thank you, Lord. Now, listen, if you're making this regular, use regular Cool Whip, use a regular cake mix or a brownie mix. And that's the only 2 ingredients you have to use if you're just doing it regular. Now, since that I am doing this keto, you know, to where I can have it, I'm going to add an egg to it because if y'all know anything about the keto box mixes, you know that they don't rise very much. So I'm going to add an egg to see if that will help just a little bit, okay? And I just went ahead and broke it in my Cool Whip container, because why should I dirty something else? We're just regular people around here, and anything to save a dirty dish, that's the dishes that I'll be washing in a few minutes, so why not do that? Now, all we're going to do, I'm going to get me a bigger mixer here, and we're going to mix this up. It's going to be stiff, okay? You know, it's going to be cookie dough, you know? Well, that did have just a little bit of firmness in the middle of that Cool Whip, but that'll be all right. Now, if I was just making this for me, I would be using some I would be putting me some coffee instant coffee in here, because I love the coffee flavor. And if you just used regular instant coffee, that enhances your chocolate flavor. So remember that if you want to add just a little bit of that in there. I'm going to mix you up good because I see some white. Could be just a few of those places that hadn't thawed totally. Let me make sure I get all that combined. I'm preheating my oven to 350 degrees. These are a real quick fix. If you need to fix something for the kids that are coming in the afternoon, let me get that up. What did I do with my towel? Hang on a minute. I've got the small cookie thing here. It seems like mine is a lot thinner than the one that I watched. Let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a little bit, this is just Swerve. This is the sugar replacement, and this is the confectionery sugar. Let me wipe my hand a minute. I'm going to put just a little bit of powdered sugar in there. And I'm going to see about dropping this in there. Theirs looked a lot different because they used a regular cake. They used a regular cake. So, y'all know it's always different when you're using anything keto, anything sugar-free or low carb. So I'm just going to roll that around and put it on my baking sheet. I'm going to try putting 2 of those together to make it just a little bit bigger. I could have used a bigger, that'll make a little bit bigger cookie, won't it? Well, I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do. Now, young'uns, I'm telling you, I've told y'all before, don't know if I'll ever get to where I can bake decent with trying to do keto. Don't know if I'll ever get to where I can. I just feel like I've always felt like I was a baker. But now I don't feel like that anymore. I feel like I've lost my ability to, I'm just being honest here. I'm not, I've always been honest with you all, and it just makes me feel really bad that I'm like that. That's going to be a monster of a cookie. Hang on. Let me get this done and I'll be back. Okay. I've got little ones, I've got medium ones, and I've got big ones on here. I ended up changing over to just a tablespoon. And we're going to pop this in 350. And it's supposed to be for about 12 minutes. I'd say the difference in the texture was where I added the egg. If I hadn't added an egg, it would have been a little bit more firmer, easy to scoop right out and roll. So learn a lesson from me, okay? Don't use an egg. Okay, here we go. Here we go. These are not beautiful cookies, by no means, but they're not the ugliest ones I've ever seen, okay? Let me check, just a minute, let me check my cake. Let me check, I've got a cake in the oven. Let me be right back.